When we made the decision that we wanted to have a campaign in order for us to bring funds in so that we might purchase a building, I believe the Lord led us to this passage and particularly to these words, rooted and grounded, which are taken, of course, from Ephesians chapter 3.
We were part of the founding group of people who got together and decided in the early 2000s that we weren't being fed spiritually the way we wanted to be fed in the churches that we were at. We were missing a lot of the blessings, and we wanted to look at several principles that were coming up, and one of them was solid biblical preaching. And we didn't feel like we were getting enough of that. And Linda and I often said we were wasting a lot of pew time. We were tired of the way things were going and the denomination we were a part of. And so we said, let's see if we can't come up with the ideal church that we could be a part of. After many, many months, we started meeting and came up with a name for the church. We came up with a place we could worship. That would be Moody Elementary School Gymnasium in Littleton, Colorado, where we were setting up chairs from then, and we've been doing it for 20 years since.
We came to Coram Deo in search of a Reformed church that took its convictions seriously. We have found that and much more here. At Coram Deo, we have found not only sound teaching, but also a loving church family and discipleship. We believe God is glorified in this church and that He is using it to teach us and grow our faith, and we believe He will continue to do so.
I came to Coram Deo Reformation Church in 2020. I had been attending a PCA church in Denver that had ceased meeting in person due to COVID, and then, in my opinion, demonstrated that they valued social justice and progressive political causes more than the gospel, and so I left. I found Coram Deo online, watched a few sermons on YouTube, asked if I could visit, and started attending. I appreciate the consistent Reformed teaching and the loving community.
Well, it's a place that worships God faithfully, where Scripture is central to everything that we do. It's Reformed, has that accountability and protection that comes with a federation of like-minded churches. But yeah, the big thing for me is Scripture is central and God is faithfully worshipped.
I like about the church is that I get to learn about God. All of us everyone gets to worship God.
Yeah.
The church, what God is doing in the church, but the church bears witness not only to people, like here in South Denver and Littleton and Centennial and Englewood, and that the church bears witness to people, but not only to people, but to angels and to demons.
Pastor Carl used to say, you need to know what you believe and why you believe it. I knew what I believed, but I wasn't as confident in why I believed it. But after 20 years of hearing the word of Christ preached at Coram Deo every Sunday, my faith is bigger and stronger because it has been informed. The Apostle Paul said, faith comes by hearing the word of the Lord preached. He was right.
God has used Coram Deo to grow us in the Christian faith. Since coming here, we have learned much about our faith, and it has changed the way we live and understand our relationship with God. God has also given us a true church family in Coram Deo. We are blessed by everyone at Coram Deo and grateful to be members of this church.
Also, since becoming members of Coram Deo, our daughter Audrey has been baptized, and seeing her baptism and several others of kids in our church has been truly a big blessing to us.
We live in turbulent times for churches. Many are shutting down or abandoning their core convictions. Coram Deo was a welcome respite from a troubled world. It gave me a place to worship consistently, a place where I could serve, and a church family.
We found a church that faithfully preaches the whole counsel of God and is gospel-centered. And while it's wonderful for us to hear, it's a true blessing for these guys to hear and raise our kids in such a faithful church. And we've loved the second service, the catechetical service. That's been new to us, and we've really enjoyed that. He's given us a family, a wonderful church family that loves God and loves his people. And we've grown together, we've been challenged, we've shared life together. The ups, the downs, the laughter, the tears, and just grown closer and been able to love one another. It's been wonderful.
I've been encouraged and humbled and grown in my knowledge and in my love for God, and grown closer to God, and it's been a true blessing.
We sometimes like to say that we started this church, but when we look back on it, in all honesty, we can see God's leading from the very beginning, from the restlessness that we had in our other church, from the times and the people we got together with. All those things came together, and we can see God's hand in that.
In desiring to acquire a building, we want to be rooted in South Denver. We want to get a foothold in this place.
On a practical level, I can't tell you how many times after we've had events in someone else's facility, inevitably somebody would say, someday, maybe we'll have our own building. And it's not just the inconvenience of the extra work for social events, but it's the restrictions on when we can have events. Weddings, memorial services, and outreach activities. We've had to forgo a lot because we didn't have our own home base. And I'm hoping that this will be ours someday.
I believe a building would be helpful for the church's mission and give us opportunities for ministry and outreach.
We don't know what the future holds. We don't know what God and his providence will do. We know we don't need a building, but the idea of a building is a good one, and we want to be part of it, and we look forward to what God will accomplish.
We truly want to see this ministry continue here in the Denver metro area, and we believe that having our own building can help accomplish that. We want to see this church become further established here and see it continue to grow.
We really love this church, and we want to see it continue. We want to see it be established and continue to grow. So we're really excited for the campaign and are happy to support it.
A solid place, a place to call home. This will be our home and our children's home and our children's children. They can identify with the building and the place and the principles and claim this as their own.
Now to him who is able to do not just more, but far more abundantly than not only all that we ask, but even all that we think and imagine. To him who is able to do far more abundantly than we can ask or think, to him be glory. To him be glory forever and ever.